subscribing, and leaving comments.
Jon-Erik Beckjord, the 26th of April, 1939, the 22nd of June, 2008, was an American paranormal investigator, photographer, and cryptozoologist interested in such phenomena as UFOs, crop circles, the Loch Ness Monster, and Bigfoot. Throughout his career, he owned 3 separate, small-scale museums that feature displays, mostly photographs, of alleged UFO, Nessie, and Bigfoot sightings. He made guest appearances on national radio and television shows, but was criticized by fellow cryptozoologists and skeptics alike for not providing substantive evidence to back up his claims of the existence of paranormal beings. Suffice to say, Jon-Erik Beckjord was a highly controversial Bigfoot researcher. What you are about to see and hear may be one of the strangest things you've ever experienced.
This is an experimental video involving some of the slides from the Bigfoot Mother film of 1967. The first set of slides will be selected ones from the series 312 to 335. We're not attempting to prove that Bigfoot exists in this experimental video. We're assuming that Bigfoot does exist. We're trying to find out what unusual aspects of Bigfoot this film shows, and we're going to try and bring out some of these unusual aspects. We're not trying to prove that Bigfoot exists. We assume that it does and that this is one. There seem to be some unusual features involved with this particular Bigfoot creature, and we're going to concentrate on those, and this is going to be a rather sloppy experimental video, but hopefully some of these unusual features will come out as a result. That means that this video will be an advanced video, or an advanced analysis that goes beyond the ordinary investigator's abilities or concerns. So we're looking for those people who are open-minded and who are interested in finding out more in depth about this particular Bigfoot creature. What we're looking at now is the middle of the back of this creature. It seems to have right in the exact center, above a dark spot in the small of the back, what could be an ape-like face, a small one. What it's doing in the middle of the back, I have no idea. In this frame, which is further on, the creature is more in focus, and it has been my thesis for many years that there has been a baby or babies on the creature, and I think we proved this pretty conclusively at the 1991 Cryptozoology Convention in England. We're now going to show more aspects of this baby, or babies in plural, and we're going to concentrate primarily on the shoulder area of this creature. However, to complicate things, because this could be an alien, possibly, there seems to be other faces of creatures that may not be babies on the surface of this creature. As an example, above the right elbow. We'll zoom in on that, then we'll move up to show the baby. The closer we get, the fuzzier it becomes. So we'll zoom back to where it's a little bit better in focus. We'll zoom in and back. Look above the elbow of this creature. Now moving up to the shoulder, on the back of the neck, is an infant's head. Kind of wide-eyed with a sort of a cute little smile to it and a nose. Big open pop eyes with high eyebrows, like something out of Disney. Along in the sequence, back in focus again because the creature is sometimes blurry. Something strange. The rear of the right leg by the foot. Is this a face with sunglasses? Who knows? Baby's head, still there. Kind of blurry. Interesting side view of the creature's head, though. On this one, we're back in focus again. And the joggling in and out of focus, like 3 frames out of focus, and 1 frame in, would kind of match up with the idea that the person who filmed this was running or walking quickly to keep up. We may have something interesting here on the left buttock. Looks like a man's face, a flat nose, compressed mouth, 2 eyes, and a broad, rigid nose. Zooming in on the baby again. Some kind of a face right there still on the shoulder, by the side of the neck. Observe kind of a trailing effect of hair on the back of the neck. Thought at first this is short hair, perhaps it's longer than we thought. Perhaps it moves. Okay, some more unusual aspects. Going beyond the ordinary stuff like the feet. Look at the upper right thigh. We'll zoom in on that. Devilish looking guy. Demonic, something strange. Zoom back, it's better in focus. Now we'll look at the side of the neck again. And what's on the back? by the shoulder blade. Baby face again above the shoulder on the side of the neck. Progressing further along merrily toward 335, but not there yet. We will now look for another baby face on the upper shoulder area by the back of the neck. If we get too close, it gets too fuzzy. There is no body connected to this. There's no arms wrapped around. Just the head. Another frame further. Observe the interesting effect by the hand. Some kind of a fringe thrown up in this particular shot only. What does this mean? Going up to the neck again. Baby face again. More of a human looking nose this time. We've got more of that fringe around the hand this time. Not as much as before. We'll zoom in on it. And we'll go on up to the shoulder again. Now what do we have? Another baby face. Or small face. Large eyes this time. Marching again toward mid-30s, 330s. We now have another kind of a rectangular thing behind the arm on the back, right next to something that's vaguely like a face or a reflection on the back of the elbow. But still, even more intriguing is the continuation of more baby face or small face, two eyes peeking over the shoulder there. And even a very, very small face that you could argue looks like a dog or a cartoon dog with big pointed ears. Next to the face with two eyes and a nose and a mouth to the right of that. Head, a little hard to see, peeking around the left hip. You may agree, you may not. Some of you will see it, some of you will not. It looks kind of like a fox. With this one, this is one of the first shots that shows the breast on this alleged female. Of course, it may be the butt of a baby on a male, or on a female anyway. But there is a hint of a breast there in the front. And there are two small heads on the back of the neck and the side of the neck. We will zoom in on those and see if you agree. These are low contrast images. If you're a skeptic, you can argue that they aren't there, that's our imagination. If you're a believer, you'll probably see more faces than I do. There's another face right at the crack of the armpit, behind the armpit. Very small. Not as much to be seen on this shot, but the critter by the left hip is still there. Peeking around the hip. More breast on this one. And baby still by that upper shoulder and side of the neck. But this is a tough one. However, that there is a crack in the buttocks. Something not found in monkey suits. A crack in the buttocks. We seem to have endless weirdness with this Bigfoot, so here's some more. Look at the upper arm again. Kind of like the face or head of a mandrill baboon. Bright colors in the middle and lighter colors on the left and right. Upper arm area. And a trace of that good old face by the side of the head above the shoulder. On this one, it's the upper shoulder again, side of the neck. It's intriguing. This guy's got a pretty prominent nose and some dark hair on top of the head. He's looking straight at us. Well, this one is 335 itself. It's a little tough to find a small head up by the side of the neck again. But what's intriguing here is something even weirder. A face all across the upper back. A smaller face on the back of the elbow. Some of you will see it, others will not. Now this is series 337 to 349. And we are going to continue with our face in the middle of the back, which we'll zoom in on. This time the face is smaller than at 335. Kind of like shrinking hemorrhoids without surgery. Now I'm going to get into a very weird series here, because we have a better shot of the side of the head of the creature now, and we're seeing an even weirder phenomena than simply the idea of a baby or two hanging on, or even faces manifesting themselves in the fur. This is stranger than that. The reason it's stranger than that is that there seems to be a growth growing out of the back of the neck or the side of the face. And as we go on, you'll see this for yourself. Some of you. Now our growth is not quite gotten going yet, but we've got something to show you in the meantime. That is something strange by the jaw. Just noticed right now. What is that by the jaw? Looks like a small, skull-like head with droopy lips or downward turned mouth and two eyes and a nose. I think most of you should see this one. Now this one's a little fuzzier than the rest, but there appears to be visible the mouth on this creature and it is very low and is swooping sharply upward, almost vertical, from a low position, and it's got a rather flat face. And that baby, or small face image, is still there by the side of the jaw, but not as clear. The hair on the back of the neck seems to be not so much attached to the head this time, but it almost seems to be curled back, almost like a shawl or collar. Top knot of hair. And the hair around the upper eyes, brow ridge hair, seems to be kind of fluffed up. With this frame, aside from the fact that its mouth is slightly open and there are lips showing, very low, way down on the face, we have the beginning of what I call the growth, or the cactus bud effect. Observe on the side of the face, back of the head, an oval, smaller head, which we'll zoom in on. Looks definitely like a man with human ears, kind of like a Shakespearean actor, kind of like an older man with a bald head. The growth is continuing to grow. This whole series is overexposed to show more detail. Perhaps the contrast will improve here. Here we have the top knot of hair flipping up, but we also have on the side of the head, it looks like an ear, but in turn actually is a piece of that strange face with two eyes and a downward sloping mouth looking at us. Side of the head at the rear. More of the same, except now the head's a little more noticeable, small head, and it has a strong nose with a shadow to it, two eyes. Looks a bit more cat-like this time, less human-like. This one is pretty hard for you not to see. We aren't supposed to have two faces on one head. This is what's happening here. Weirdness in Northern California. Focus on this one is pretty bad, but there's some contrast, and we have a fuzzy, small face, the same position as before, continuation of what we've been seeing. Aside from a very intriguing face to the main creature, almost like the nose has been pushed in, we have again a rather strong and large growth face, cactus bud face, sticking out the side of the head. We'll zoom in now. If we go too far in, it gets too fuzzy. This one reminds me of Alf, TV series Alien. Breasts showing on this one, or is it the butt of the baby down low? I think so. And a face of that just below the chin of the mother. But again, we have the cactus growth thing in the same position as before. And look at those eyes on the mother. Nose bridge in between. This is about the best of the series. We have the main baby, if you want to call it that, with its butt hanging over the chest, sticking out like a breast, head below the chin of the mother, and we have the cactus bud creature in the same position as before, rather large face this time. We'll zoom in on it. It's got kind of a nasty expression, big eyes, downward sloping mouth. Here the smaller creature is beginning to fade away like a balloon that's deflating and going back into the body of the main creature. A deflating cactus bud, but it's still there. The creature now, the main creature, has developed more of a nose than it usually has, indicating it continually changes. That head is still there on the side, but it is smaller and going back down. As we zoom in on the last of these public domain photos in the public domain ever since 1968, we now see that the creature is almost in the position of being in the most famous frame, with a white streak across the nose area below the eyes. But there is still our cactus bud baby up high, with two eyes, looking a bit like a lizard this time, smaller, and after this frame it is not seen very much up there. It can be made out in the so-called best frame, but still not as well as here. So we say goodbye now to our public domain series for research of the Bigfoot Mother film.
If you're enjoying all this rare and unique content, please show your support by subscribing and leaving comments.